All right, I think we've hit the 1:30 mark. If we want to go ahead and get started, I'll open up to Gina to kind of take us away here. And of course, there will be time for questions at the end, so you can drop those questions in the Q&A function over text, or there will be a chance to ask those questions, of course, at the end of the presentation. Take it away, Gina.
Thank you, Jake. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your afternoon today to talk about the Community Benefits Grant Program that Pioneer and Calpine Community Energy are currently accepting applications for. I'd like to start by introducing my colleagues, Jake Trimble here from Pioneer Community Energy, Caleb Ingerson from Calpine Community Energy, and Jalen Bacci, also from Calpine Community Energy. Next slide, please. So what we'll be covering today is giving you a little bit of background about Calpine and Pioneer and our long and strong relationship. We'll go over the Community Benefits Grant Program, how to apply and answer any questions you might have. We also do want to talk a little bit about the reporting requirements for the grant, since there is some accountability for those who receive funds. Really quick, Pioneers launched service in 2018 in this region, and Calpine Community Energy has been our partner since the very beginning. They have grown with us. They have helped us navigate a lot of changing times. They have been our partner through our expansions, and we are really fortunate to have them as a partner. As part of our shared commitment to the communities we serve, Calpine every year gives back 3% of their contract amount to the communities that Pioneer serves. And it really is a wonderful giving opportunity and has made a big difference in the communities that we serve. Next slide, please. Last year was actually the first year that we did this, and we would like to congratulate last year's recipients who are Feeding the Foothills, which provides service in El Dorado, Nevada, and Placer counties, KVMR Radio in Nevada City, which is actually one of our newest territories, and Silver Wishes and Lincoln. Next slide. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Pioneer, we are an electricity provider. We are community owned, not for profit. And right now we currently serve Placer and El Dorado counties and the cities of Grass Valley and Nevada City. Our number one priority is helping to save customers money, but we also really prioritize being a good community partner and reinvesting back into the communities we serve. To date, we have saved our customers more than $145 million. And again, all of those savings go back into the communities that we serve. For the purposes of this year's grant, one thing I want to make really clear is that this grant is only open to our existing territories. So as you look at the map, it's the area in green, which again is Placer and El Dorado counties, Grass Valley, and Nevada City. We are really excited to be expanding into 16 new communities in 2027, and down the road, they will be eligible for this grant as well. What I'd like to do now is turn over the deck to my colleagues at Calpine who can answer more specific information or can provide more specific information about the grant. And then we will again answer questions at the end. So Caleb and Jalen, off to you.
Thank you, Gina. Yeah, so as Gina has mentioned, my name is Caleb Ingerson, and I run the Community Benefits Program here at Calpine Community Energy. This is the second year running the program with Pioneer, but we actually started this program back in 2021 with Clean Power Alliance. So this is our sixth year doing this, but always exciting to go to the second round and see all the applications that come in as we move forward in the program. A little bit of background on Calpine Community Energy. We are a San Diego-based organization, and we were really founded to help support customer choice in energy. We've been kind of around since the beginning with community choice aggregation, helping launch the very first one. And as Gina had mentioned, we've partnered with Pioneer since their launch. And likewise, we are very committed to reinvesting in the communities that we partner with and that we support. And the Community Benefits Program was a good way for us to make sure that we're getting those funds directly into organizations within the community. If we can move to the next slide, please. So a little bit of a, kind of high level overview on the grant. The grant was created to provide funding to organizations that help advance things like clean energy, sustainability, and resiliency, as well as overall community wellness. And one of the most important things to note here is that for an organization to be eligible, they must be a 501c3 designated nonprofit. There is kind of an opportunity to partner with a 501c3 if you are not one yourself, and use them as a fiscal sponsor, but the organization that the funds are going to must be a 501c3. And the funding can be used for a specific project, a program, or it can also be used just for general operations. So a lot of flexibility with how that funding can be used. Next slide, please. And kind of going over the criteria that we look for this program. There is I would say, a broad criteria here, because I think that all of these focus areas can take a lot of different forms and create impacts in many different ways. So, this is kind of the high level focus areas that we look for, but there's a lot of finer details within these. But so the priority focus areas for this year are unchanged from last year, but there are 4 of those, and that is research and planning for wildfire mitigation, support for economically disadvantaged groups, workforce development, and education. Next slide, please. And a little more in-depth view of the application. So as we had noted, only 501c3s are eligible. And the application is hosted on Pioneer's website. So you can hop on there and see the actual PDF that you have to submit. But the information that's on there is fairly straightforward. We really made this application to be as little administrative work as possible while still ensuring that we get good outcomes with the program. So a few different sections in the application itself. The first thing is just the organization's description and mission, which is a 500-word max. And this is just kind of an opportunity to tell us a little bit about the work that you do, things that you've done in the past. Just kind of give us a brief description of your organization itself. And then you will select the cities and counties that the project and funding will support. And as Gina had noted, those will be within Pioneer's territory and the existing territories, not the ones that will be joining later on. But there's essentially just drop downs and boxes for you to tick that select those. And then the funding level that you all are requesting, which the awards will range from 10 to 25,000. So just keep that in mind while you're applying. The categories, which are what we went over on the last page, and then the proposal, which can be, as we had said, specific program, general operating, but whatever the proposal contains, just I think the important part is to ensure that the outcomes are kind of clearly defined and measurable. And then finally, we do also ask that you include a budget, which we can move on to the next slide. We'll have a little preview of what this looks like. So this is a fairly straightforward template here that breaks it down between your direct costs, labor costs, and other costs. And you are certainly welcome to include a budget that's more in depth if you have something prepared along those lines. But if you do have an additional budget, we do still ask that you complete this section as well, just so we have kind of uniformity across the applications. But we'll have an opportunity for questions on this later as well, if anything comes up. Next slide, please. So talked through this a little bit already, but to give you an idea of what the competitive applications look like, the important thing is to have a very clear proposal and metrics that will define your success and are clear. And then making sure that the application itself is clearly connected to the funding goals. So those 4 categories that we highlighted earlier, and specifically the impact on the communities that it serves. And yes, and then the fact that it's a positive impact on that customer segment. Next slide, please. Gene, I'll pass this one over to you.
Sorry, I was on mute. As with any grant, there are some reporting requirements because there is some accountability involved. One of the things that we ask is for a 6-month status check. This really is an opportunity for Calpine and Pioneer to connect with the organizations who receive the money, to get a status report, to share photos. And really what we are hoping for in the reporting requirements is to share the success. Again, we will do that at 1 year. Will want photos, statements of expenditures, the things that are outlined here. And again, we are very fortunate in our service territory to have so many great community organizations that we connect with. And so we really have been able to see the benefits of this grant money in our community. And so thank you to last year's recipients for being such great partners in this effort. Next slide, please. As far as timeline goes, it's very straightforward. The application period is already opened. It opened on June 1st. We're doing the webinar today. July 13th is the application deadline. That is a firm deadline. So if you are planning to apply for this grant, please mark that day on your calendar and please get any questions to us well in advance so you don't miss the deadline. Calpine will actually do the evaluation of the applications, and they will do that. And then they also have some due diligence that they do through that process. And we are hoping to know who this year's grant recipients are by November. So next slide, please. At this point, I'd like to open it up for questions. One thing that I would like to answer proactively is last year's recipients are eligible to apply again this year. That is a question that I was emailed. So I want to make sure that is clear. And with this, I will open it up to questions.
I'm not seeing any open questions or hands raised at this time.
Okay.
We'll give a few seconds here in case any come up in the short term. But I do want to highlight as well Gina's contact information here, who you can always reach out to if you have any questions. Looks like we do have one from Deb, just saying thank you for being such great community-focused partners. So thank you, Deb, for the kind
Deb,
note.
thank you for all you do. You help a lot of people through the year.
Heather asks, do you determine the amount awarded or do we specify in the grant?
Yeah, so we ultimately make that determination when we do the evaluations, but you would specify in the grant what you are requesting. I mean, if there are, aspects that can be scaled down or things like that, and you would like to, kind of put that information in as well, that's certainly welcome. But yes, please specify the full funding amount that you're requesting, and then we do make that final evaluation on our side.
Great. And then Monique asks, for workforce development, is that restricted to specific ages?
Not quite sure I understand the question.
Like potentially like workforce development maybe for youth, not just or for young professionals, maybe, if I'm getting that right from Monique. And maybe you can follow up Monique in the question to make sure I'm, you know, interpreting the question correctly.
Yeah, I would say it's fairly open. You know, I think the tying it into you know, kind of the other categories as well is certainly great. But yes, there is as I had said, some flexibility there. So hopefully that helps.
Monique was able to clarify, stating that for some other grants, workforce development has been limited to youth or up to age 26. So
Yes,
uh,
no restrictions
I-
like that.
no restrictions. Great. Thank you. And thank you for the question, Monique. All right, that's all I'm seeing on the QA side for the webinar. Of course, if there are any other questions, you can contact Gina using some of the information seen on this last slide below. And this webinar will also be available on the Community Benefit Grants webpage on the Pioneer website. So you can always refer back to this webinar. And then, of course, if you have any questions, you can call our office at the number below. Any final notes from Gina or Caleb?
Before we close, I just want to remind everyone, both Jake and I are here in Rockland, so don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. We do work with our colleagues at Calpine daily. And then with that, Caleb and Jalem, if you have any last comments, take it away.
No, I think I just wanted to say, you know, thanks again for the opportunity to partner with you all and get some funding into the communities. And we're very much looking forward to reviewing the applications as they come in. I don't know if Jalen, you have anything you want to add?
No, same thing. I'm looking forward to seeing as many applications. Encourage everyone, anyone you think has not joined, they can always reach out for questions. We're here to see, you know, we hope the outreaches can be grand and as expensive.
Yeah. And all of us really are here to help with the process. So don't be shy.
Well, thank you all for attending and joining us on this webinar, taking the time out of your day. And we hope to hear from you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.